Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video, I am going to show you how to create a lead capture page. Alright, so let me show you how it's going to work. So here's the lead capture page. When someone lands on this page, they need to add their name. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm a new person here. Okay, so that's my email address. Next, I'm going to hit subscribe and notice what happens. This is going to automatically take us to the thank you page, and I show you step by step how to do this. So this is where they get to download their freebie. So if I click here on download, notice that it is downloaded. But that's not the end. What will happen as well is that name has been added now to my email autoresponder, and in this case it is ConvertKit. So I'm going to come over here now to ConvertKit and refresh this page and see if my name has been added. So I'm just going to scroll down here, get rid of this download here. And there we go. Mac add funnels to income, January 14th has been added to the list. This is how you generate leads, and this is the lead capture system that will help you grow your email list. So the tools that I'll be using today are Divi and ConvertKit, but you can pretty much use any page builder and any email autoresponder. The concept is the same. All right, guys, without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to create the landing page itself. So I'm going to come over here to pages and then click on add new. So this is now where we need to give this page a name. You can give it whatever name you want. So in this case, I'm just going to call this giveaway. Next, I'm going to click on use Divi builder. And for this design, I'm going to build from scratch. All right, so the next step now is to add our columns. So I'm going to click here for a single column because that's what we need so far. And then I'm going to add a text module and click on next. So in this text module, this is where you want to add your text that explains what the person needs to do when they land on your page. So I'm going to say, anyway, I've called it sign up below to download your free template. Next, we need to stylize this text. So I'm going to come over here to design text. And the first thing I need to do is to make sure that this text is centered. So now the next step is to make it bigger. So I'm just going to stretch it here, make it nice and big. And then I'm going to choose my font by coming over here. Now the font I want is Poppins. I really like using this font. And here we can play around with the colors. We can make it darker, we can make it lighter, whatever you want to go with. So pretty much this is what we have. Okay, so now the next step is just to make sure that your design is very easy to see on mobile devices and also on tablets. So I'm going to click on this little icon here, and this is going to give me an idea of how this looks on different devices. So straight away, you can see we have a problem here. The spacing between this is not great. So what we need to do now is to come over here and adjust our line height. So I would say 1.8 is great. And I may also want to just increase the size a little bit here to about 40. And that's looking great. Okay, the next step is to take a look on the mobile phone size, and then you can see here the text is way too big. So let's bring it down to about right there. So I think 22 looks great. Now what you can also do is to drag these sides just to see what it looks like on different types of screens. Okay, so back over here on our desktop, you know what? I want to make this even bolder. So I'm going to come over here, change my font weights to bold. And as you can see, I think that looks much better. Let's increase the size a little bit here so things are on two lines. Okay, so we're going to go with 52. Okay, I'm happy with the size. So next, I'm going to click here on save. All right, so what we're going to do next now is to add our opt-in. So I'm going to click here on this plus button. We're going to add a single column. And this time I am going to add an email opt-in. So I'm going to search for my email opt-in module. And here it is. I'm going to select it. Now, out of the box, I don't really like the way this looks. So what I'm going to do is first of all, get rid of all this text because the top part already explains what my opt-in is about. Okay, so here we also have the title. We're going to get rid of that. And then now it's time to design this. So I'm going to scroll down here and go to my fields. So you can decide what fields you want to have. So usually I don't like collecting the last names. So let's get rid of it by just disabling it here. So all we have now is the first name, email, and the button. Right. So we also have a background here. And as you can see, the background color here doesn't look great. So I'm going to come over here to background and set it to transparent. So I've just gotten rid of the background, but don't worry because we have the opportunity to go in and stylize this. Okay, so the next step now is to click on this little brush tool. So this is going to take us now to our field designer. So we can set our background colors and so on. So what I like doing here is to go straight to my borders, and this is where I can set my border width. So let's set our border width to 2, and you can see right away we have added our borders onto the fields where we can where people can add their names and email addresses. Okay, so we can also play around with the colors here. So I'm just going to click here and make this transparent by dragging this slider down like that. So I think just about there is okay. Great. So I'm happy with that. Now the text we have in here is not great. I need to make sure that my text here is consistent. So I am going to choose my field text. So here it is. I'm going to choose Poppins, just like what I did before. The size is pretty much okay. Now, as you can see, we have the button missing here. So what we need to do is to click here on this brush tool, and this is going to take us to our button here. But in order for us to go in and customize it, we need to click here where it says use custom styles for button. So now I've activated it. I'm going to give this button a color, but you can see here I've just given it the outline, but that's not what we need to do. What we need to do is to give it a background color. So I'm going to come over here, add a background color, and then I can swap over the text now. So now you can see it's much easier to read. So moving ahead, I'm also going to add the same color here to the border just to make the button very solid. Next, I'm going to change my font here. So we have default. Let's change this to Poppins, just like how we had before. And we can make this all caps if we want to, because I think that looks much better. And I want to make this button much bigger. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to padding, and I am going to add 10 to the top and the bottom. So what you need to do here is just to play around with this and see how it looks. So if you want to increase it a bit more, like as you can see here, I've increased it to about 16. So now the button is nice and big. When people land on this page, they will not miss it. Okay, so that's the idea here. Okay. In fact, you know what? That's a bit too much. Let's just dial it down a little bit to about 14. So that's looking great. I really like how this looks now. So I am going to now save this. So as you can see, this is really taking a bit of space on the page. So what we need to do next is to go in and adjust our rows. So I'm going to come over here to design, sizing. So instead of having this width at 80%, let's bring it down to about 70%. So I think 70% is great. I'm going to save this. I'm also going to come over here and do the same. I'm going to come to design, sizing, and then bring this down. But this time, this is going to be 60%. Now let's take a look and see what this looks like on mobile devices. So I'm going to click here on this little icon here, go into tablet. So in tablet here, it's set to auto, but to be honest, I think it looks great as it is. And then over here on the phone, now there's a bit of a gap here. I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to go to desktop. Okay. So what I'm going to change here is this space. So to do that, I'm going to go to my spacing. So making sure that my margin top is set to 0. And also on the bottom, I'm going to save. And I'm also going to go into my row settings here, go to design, spacing. And then on my margin bottom, I'm going to set this to 0. And I'm going to do the same on the padding as well. So you can see things have shifted up a little bit, and that's looking much, much better. Okay, so now that we've added all this, we're going to save. So the next part now, this is the part which is very important. We need to connect this to our email service provider. So there's several out there. There's MailChimp, there's ConvertKit, there's ActiveCampaign. I mean, there's quite a lot to choose from. But the idea of adding it here is pretty much the same. You're going to need to connect with your API key. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So before I connect my email to my email autoresponder, I'm just going to come over here to my section settings here, and I'm going to add a bit of padding both to the top and the bottom. So I'm going to come over here to design and then click on spacing. So over here, I'm going to add some padding. So it's going to be, I'll say about 5 VW. And this is going to be both the top and the bottom. So this is what I'll add initially. And then I'm just going to use this slider now just to see how this looks like. So I think this is much better. Okay, great. So now that we have this all set, the next step now is to go to what we suggested originally, and that is to go in here and connect our form with our email autoresponder. Okay, so to do that, what you want to do is to scroll down a little bit, click on email account. Okay, so this is where we're going to get a list of all the email accounts. So I'm going to choose ConvertKit for now. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my ConvertKit account and create a form, because we want this form to connect. So when someone signs up on our website, they're going to be added onto ConvertKit. So to do that, you want to come over here to landing pages and forms, and we need to create a brand new one. So over here on this button, in fact, you can't really see this because my face is in the way. So we want to come over here to create new, click on that, and we can say form. And this can be inline, it doesn't really matter, but we don't really have to go with a specific design here because our design is already in Divi. What we need to do next is I'll just click on clear. This is the basic one. I'll just choose that one, and we need to give this a name. So let's just call this giveaway, just like how we did before. So now that we have this set, so as you can see here, we only have the email address. So let's click on this plus button here and add another field. So you can drag these and make sure it's in the right position. So this field here, we're going to give it a name. So we're going to call this first name. So you can see now this has been mapped. Okay, great. So now that we have this, we don't even need to go in and design it because our design, as I mentioned, is already in Divi. So let's save this. So remember, it's called giveaway. Now I need to come over here to my account, click on account settings. So here I am going to copy my API key because we're going to need it over here. So if I click on add, this now is asking for my API key. There we go. And my API secret is here. So this is where I need to click to get my API secret. So just like how I did before, I'm going to copy it and paste it. And then I'm just going to call this giveaway and then submit. So what's going to happen now is the systems are going to sync and basically be able to talk to each other. So it's going to take a bit of time depending on how fast your internet is. So once this completes, it means that when someone gets on our landing page, they leave their name and email address, it will be added onto our mailing list. It's really, really cool. Okay, so now that we've added it up and everything has synced, I now have to choose the list. So remember, we created a list called giveaway over here in ConvertKit. So I'm going to click here and then choose the list, and it's called giveaway. So I'm going to click on giveaway, and then I am going to now save it. Okay, great. So now that we have this all set, the next step now is to get rid of the header and the footer, because we want that when people get on our landing page, they're not distracted by anything on this page. All they need to see is that giveaway. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here and click on edit page, save and exit. All right, so the next step now is to go to our page here, page attributes. And here you can see it says default template. We want to go for blank template. So this is the template that's going to remove the header and the footer. Great. So now I can hit publish. Publish one more time. Okay, so that's looking great, but we are not done yet. So you need to decide now what happens when someone leaves their email address and then clicks download. We now need to add our giveaway, and we need to add our giveaway on the thank you page. Okay, so we can either have a double opt-in or we can have them downloaded on the thank you page. Okay, so let's head over here now to our dashboard, and we need to create one more page, and this is the thank you page. So I'm going to say add new, and let's just call this page thank you. Use Divi Builder. Okay, so we're going to build this from scratch just like how we did before. Okay, so we've chosen a single column, and now we need to have our text. So I'm going to add my text in here, and the text can be anything. I'm just going to say thank you. Okay, and again, let's center it, and then let's design it as well. So we're going to come over here to our text and give it a color, change the font, change it to Poppins, make it slightly bigger. Great. And then what I'm going to do is to add our button here by clicking on this plus button, and I'm going to search for my button module. Okay, so I'm going to say download here. Okay, now let's stylize this button by coming over here to alignment, making sure it's centered. And then I am going to go into the button itself and stylize it. So first of all, I'm going to make sure my text is set to this little light color here. And then I am going to give it a background color like that. Give this a border, change the text from default. Great, so now our button has been designed. It needs now to link to that giveaway that we are talking about. So let's go ahead now and save this. But before we leave, I just want to give this page a bit of padding. So I'm going to come over here and go into design, and let's go into spacing. And for our padding here, it's going to be 10 VW for the top and the bottom. And then we're going to hit save. Okay, so now let's save this page one more time. But what we need to do now is to upload that file we are going to be giving away. This could be a template. This could be anything of value. Okay, so I'm going to open this now in a new tab just to save me from going back and forth on the same page. Okay, so now that we're open here, we're going to go into our media library like that. So in your case, what you need to do is you need to go into your computer, find that file. So I'm just going to take this screenshot here. It's just pretty much any basic file. I'm going to right click on it, and then I'm going to compress it. So here's that compressed file. I'm just going to drag it over here to my media library, and you can see here that it has been uploaded to my media library. The next step now is to click once, and this now is going to show us the URL to download this file. So I'm going to click here on copy URL to file, and you can see it has said copied, and then close here, go to our thank you page. Now let's go to this button here by clicking on this gear icon, click on link, and then we're going to paste that URL that we've just copied and then hit save. Now, what you could also do here on this page is to add a bit more information here that goes into detail, thanking the person that for downloading the product. And at this stage, you can also upsell them to other products on your website. Okay, so now that we've designed this, we also need to get rid of the header and the footer just to make our design simple. So I'm going to click here on edit page, save and exit. You have to make sure you save and exit. Okay. Right. So as we did before, we need to get rid of the template. So I'm going to come over here to default template, and we are going to change our template here to blank like that. Hit publish. Hit publish one more time. Okay. So what we're going to do now is to view this page. So you can see our page here is very basic. It's pretty much all white. All it has is the thank you and the download here. And if we click on download here, you can see now that the file has been downloaded. So congratulations, our download button is working. But we're not done yet. So what we need to do now is to copy this URL. Okay, it's very important you copy this. Go back, right? And let's go to the page, that landing page that we created. So I'm going to come over here to all pages. And our page is called giveaway, right? So on this giveaway page, we are now going to go in and tell Divi what to do when someone fills in that form. It's very important. So we want them, when they fill the form, they go to the thank you page. Right, so that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to go into my email opt-in here, and then I'm just going to hit cancel. Right, so I'm going to scroll all the way down here to our success action. Okay, so at the moment we have display a message, but we don't want that. We want them to go to the thank you page. So I'm going to say redirect to custom URL. And then I am going to paste my URL in here, which is the thank you page. Okay, great. So everything is looking great now. I am going to save, and we are going to save this one more time. Now is the time that we've all been waiting for, and this is now testing time. Okay, so let's now exit the Visual Builder. Okay, great. So this is our landing page. This is where we're going to drive all our traffic to. So this could be traffic coming on from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, email list, whatever it is, they need to come to this page so they can get their free item. Okay, so when they land on this page, we're going to test this now. So we're going to give this my name. So let me just call this Mac testing. Okay, that's my name. Let's give this email address. So my email address here is going to be, let's see, mac@mactest.com. Okay, so if I hit subscribe, or in fact, this would be a download now, actually. So I'm gonna hit subscribe. And notice this is supposed to take us to the thank you page, if this works correctly. And there we go. We're now on the thank you page. And this is where I can download my freebie by clicking over here. And as you can see, it downloaded. But now we need to check and see if Mac Test has been added onto ConvertKit. So I'm going to come over here to my subscribers here on ConvertKit, and I'm just going to scroll down. In fact, I need to refresh this, and you can see here Mac testing has been added. So it's mac@mactest.com. So as you can see, this is working. This is how you're going to be building your mailing list, and those two pages are really doing their job. They get on the landing page, they add their name and email address. It takes them to the thank you page. You give what you've promised them, and they're automatically added onto your mailing list, which means you can start sending them emails and market to them with other products. Now, there's also another stage here. If you are in Europe, you need to set up double opt-in, and this can be done in ConvertKit, but this is a topic for another video. All right, guys, let me know if you are able to follow this step by step. And also, I'd like to remind you that if you hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, you're going to be notified with all these tips and tutorials that I produce on this channel. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.